Hi guys, we're going to be talking about Israel and the new attacks of Iran on Israel. So we have Yemen's Houthis launched second missile attack. Ugh. So we have Yemen's Houthis launch second missile attack on Israel and vow to continue over coming days. Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels have launched missile strikes towards Israel today. Their first since the war began. Who are the Houthis? Yemen's internationally recognized government condemns what it describes as Iran's frequent attempts to drag the country into the Middle East conflict. If the Houthis target shipping coming through the Bab al Mandab Strait at the southern end of the Red Sea, it would be another big blow to the global economy, our Middle East analyst writes. Um, Three journalists are killed in an Israeli airstrike, their employers say, as Israel's military accuses one of them, a reporter from Hezbollah Al-Mana TV channel, of being an operative for the Iran-backed militant group. The Committee to Protect Journalists condemns the attack, saying journalists are not legitimate targets regardless of the outlet they work for. Meanwhile, Iran says that the U.S. and Israel struck a medical clinic in Minab, the same area as a fatal attack on the girls' school on the first day of the war. um, a Okay, Iran officials say today's attack on the Martyr Absalom clinic caused damage to storage facilities, but no injuries were reported. So Iran actually attacked them pretty bad last night. They attacked Haifa and they attacked Tel Aviv and kind of destroyed it. The reason they are attacking Tel Aviv is just because it's the main city. There's a lot of like power plants over there. That's what they're trying to hit. But the reason they're attacking Haifa is that because most of the imports of Israel are through Haifa. That's where they're importing most of it. So Israel is not the country with like the most resources. They're a very small country. They don't have a lot of resources. They're dependent on other countries to provide them with like basic things for the infrastructures, to be honest. And Iran is now very intelligently targeting that, and they've been targeting it very successfully actually. And they they fired a lot of ballistic missiles, but they also had a lot of drones last night that target those areas of Israel, and they were pretty successful in damaging. So the war is actually not helping Israel in any way, and now you have the Houthis actually attacking them as well. Um, let's turn our attention to the U.S. for a moment. When Reza Pahlavi, the exiled son of Iran's lost Shah, has appeared today in front of the Conservative Political Action Conference, a base that has been welcoming ground for U.S. President Donald Trump for a decade. Um, mm, what is he saying, by the way? He's saying two loud cheers. Pahlavi asked the crowd to imagine Iran going from death to America to God bless America, as he promised. When Iran is free, America regains a great friend. Yo, Abe, how's it going? You reckon Israel would take over southern Lebanon by the end of 2026? I don't think so. It's not going to be possible. I think they've already taken over like 25% of Lebanon or something like this. The numbers are pretty crazy. They have caused a lot of casualties as well. The thing is, because people are not paying a lot of attention to Lebanon, most of their attention is being taken by Iran and Israel because Iran is actually retaliating. That's the time they're actually using to take a lot of the Lebanon. The only reason I don't think they're going to be able to do it successfully is because Iran is retaliating a lot, and then Israel is actually running low on the weapons. And now, Pentagon is actually US is actually asking Pentagon for like $200 billion, and Israel is actually getting a lot of aid from USA and stuff. So I think that will be a problem because USA eventually will have to pull out of the war. I don't think their ego is big enough to actually stay there and take more casualties. It seems like they're putting the ground troops on, so they're looking for something long, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to go their way, to be honest, because There's a lot of destruction that Iran is causing in Israel as well. Did you see the new news about like them attacking Haifa now? So previously they were only attacking Tel Aviv, which is like the biggest city of Israel. Everybody knows that it's a known city for like infrastructure and all of this, power plants. But right now they're attacking Haifa, where most of the trade actually happens. And Israel is not the richest country when it comes to the resources. So they have to actually import a lot of resources. And if Iran destroys Haifa, that's the only place where Israel is actually doing the trade from. It's gonna be difficult for them. Yo, Saha, how's it going? How you doing? I'm assuming next would be Jordan. They might be able to do it. I mean, the purpose is to have like the greater Israel. That is the main purpose that they have. But do they have the capacity? Do they have the military capability to be able to do that? Because I think Iran surprised them in many regards. Adam 22, are you the same Adam 22? All this talk for war is so sad. It's like the world wants it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't even know, man. It's just like a topic that people have to discuss, and I don't really know what they're doing with the war, by the way. It's like we as like normal people cannot, there's not much we can actually do. Um we can just talk about it and maybe do our best on like the social media and the conversations that actually having with the people around us. Or if you can raise awareness in some ways, or if somebody's got some sort of like relationships or contacts in like a high level, they might be able to do yeah. But it's kind of crazy right now. Like there's people who are like very pro war as well. And do you know, by the way, it is a very important discussion. Like, we need to actually discuss it, because if we're not discussing it, it means we're not thinking about it. If we're not thinking about it, it means we're not thinking about the people who are actually dying, which means we don't have the survival instincts, because it can come to us anytime too. We never know that. Like, if the war extends to like a world war and all the European countries are involved, then it's going to be us. It's fascinating how people thinking about something, thinking is something, thinking. Yeah. I liked, by the way, and I'll subscribe. Thank you, Adam 22. Please, please subscribe to my channel. I produce a lot of MMA content as well. Thanks for that. And guys, by the way, this whole thing about the war, actually, do you know in the White House, actually, the promos, the videos that they're actually playing for Donald Trump, and to actually convince the fans of the Iran war to kind of justify it and as to make it look cool. They're actually playing video games promos. That's what they're doing. America's actually got like one of the best military, and they're obviously proving that in Iran. They're destroying Iran badly. But when they're actually doing it, they're actually promoting it through the video games in the White House. Like, could you not take this war seriously? Bro, you're killing that many people, and the way that you're actually convincing your audience, your countrymen, justifying this war because you didn't find any other reason to actually justify it to them. There's nothing that came up to your mind that was good enough, to be honest. And people are not stupid. They're not gonna buy the shit when you're talking about like, oh, it was the nuclear weapons. That never actually happened. So they have to actually make it look cool, and because a lot of kids play video games these days, so I think that's the route they're actually taking. Um, Exactly. I have a friend in Lebanon I met on Call of Duty. Oh, what is that friend actually saying? He was a cheerful guy, but he went ghost mode on social media. Is it trying to hide on social media? Because Israel might be actually looking after, they might be surveilling the accounts very aggressively right now of everybody in Lebanon and Iran. It's affecting everyone. Yeah, the war is affecting everyone. That's the thing. Everybody needs to be serious about it. If we have any sort of survival instincts, we need to be serious about it, because if Donald Trump can actually just make the decision without actually getting any sort of permission from Congress, from his own country, and then taking any sort of permission from UN, and actually take the whole country into war without actually justifying it, not giving any valid reason for the war to Iran, then he could he now do the same thing to some of the other countries? And now it's Lebanon as well. They've done that in the Middle Eastern countries previously. We don't even know. He's talking about like Greenland as well. We never know that. I mean, European countries are definitely not going to be happy about this. France and Germany already told Donald Trump that if you step your foot on Greenland, we'll be attacking you back, which I kind of like there, because Greenland's quite close to them. You really need to watch the 1993 movie Jurassic Park. I have watched Jurassic Park, actually. Um, Adam, he did. Boon Boy just rebuilding Solomon's temple in the first act. Is the first act. Rebuilding. Okay, who was the first one to actually build it? Was Solomon? Solomon was the first one to actually build it, right? Rebuilding. So it was David who actually built it first before Solomon. You look exactly like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Dude, Timmy, did you not do something like this to me last time actually? Uh, because I feel like I pulled up something last time and it was quite funny and I had to like Google it. Okay, I don't really know who Jeff Goldblum is, and I hope it's someone sexy. I hope it's someone actually like decent looking, because someone did that on my stream last time. I don't can't remember if it was you or somebody else, but it was like an ugly ass guy that I had no similarities to be honest. Okay, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna take this, bro. I'm gonna take this. Jeff Goldblum. That guy is like he was a decent guy. That's a decent guy. Let's talk about an incident in Lebanon, but YouTube is auto removing it. Okay, is that like a video that you actually? Oh, is YouTube actually auto removing your comments that you actually posting on my live, or were you making a video about Lebanon? He's attractive, no homo. Yeah, he's actually Jeff Goldblum is pretty good looking. I know this guy. Yeah, yeah, he is. He's man. I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week. To be honest, he's much better than looking than me. To be honest. Okay, on my life. Yeah, they do that all the time, to be honest. I mean, YouTube is better than TikTok, I would say. TikTok, you use any wrong words, and TikTok will just remove it instantly. Instantly, they would do that. All right. So who's been following the attacks? Who's been following the Iranian attacks? I know Israel has done a lot of destruction, and that was kind of like it was pretty obvious that Israel was going to do it. But who's following what Iran is doing in Israel right now? YouTube in that term is way better, dude. I'm not gonna lie because I have a lot of experience of like getting shadow banned on TikTok and YouTube. So me and my friend actually we made a video about Charlie Kirk's death and we discussed like why Charlie Kirk death was such a bad thing, even though we didn't agree with some of the views of Charlie Kirk, but why it was such a bad thing and that liberals actually celebrating on social media was not a good thing or whatever. My friend actually uploaded a video, and right after like a few minutes or like few hours, his video actually hit 50K on TikTok, and he doesn't have a lot of followers. Like if you got followers and your video is hitting 50K, that's not a big deal. But he doesn't have a lot of followers, and his video is hitting 50K. And then just after like an hour or two, they removed the video because they were like, it's violent. We didn't show anything violent to be honest on the video. And then you upload the same video on YouTube, it would actually stay on YouTube. Um, they wouldn't fully ban the video, but TikTok will give you like a strike as well. Like me personally, I uploaded like a wrestling video where we're like wrestling on the beach on TikTok. That video did not even survive. I upload the same video on YouTube. It might take away like few of the views, but YouTube is mostly fine. Like also one of my friend actually went to Italy. He did like a body spar with like a random guy. He uploaded the video on TikTok. He got zero views because it got completely shadow banned. But then he uploaded the video on like YouTube, and YouTube was completely fine with it. Like he was getting decent views on the short. So it's just one of those things. I don't think they can beat Israel, let alone the US, on full force. Yeah, they wouldn't, but where are they getting the weapons from? They're getting the weapons from Russia. Russia is actually helping them. I'm quite surprised that China is not helping them as much as China should have. North Korean president has taken a Kim Jong Un has actually taken a stand, and he's like, if you need any sort of help, if you want me to step in, I can actually do that. Like he's willing to do that. But China, I don't know. China is doing a lot of trade with the U.S. With U.S. and Canada. I think they just don't want to hurt their economy right now. Even though every country is kind of dependent on China. China is the biggest transporter for many of the countries. To be honest, even if you talk about like the South American countries, you talk about the North American countries. Venezuela was importing like 80% of the goods from China. So I mean that tells you the power that China actually holds. And I think if they can blackmail any country in the world, to be honest. But it just seems like they don't want to do that right now. From Russia and other Muslim countries, um, um, yeah, man, it's like they're getting support from Russia, but they're not actually getting the support from other Muslim countries. They're maybe probably getting like some sort of moral support from the Muslim countries on social media, but which Muslim country is actually stepping in? Like Pakistan is really close to Iran, but Pakistan would not step in because I believe the government of Pakistan is kind of controlled a bit by the U.S. It's just because they're taking a lot of aid from the US. So even though they love the Iranian people, even the people of Pakistan and Iran actually have a very strong connection, the government wouldn't bother to do that. Do you guys remember, like, I don't know how much you are aware of the up to date with like the Pakistani politics, the guys who were running the country, Shabazz Sharif actually. He comes on the stage, and I'm talking like a few months ago, and Donald Trump says, "You were telling me something backstage. Could you actually say that on in front of the mic?" And this guy's like, "You're the best, President Trump. You are the best president. You should get the Nobel Prize. I nominate you. I nominated you previously. I nominate you today as well for the Nobel Peace Prize. President Trump, you're the best." I was like, Pakistan is busy with Afghanistan. I mean, they're in like a full blown war, which does not even make sense. And by the way, do you guys get some sort of like, I'm not making a conspiracy theory, but do you guys get some sort of sense? Do you sense something over here? Like, why was the timing of the war with Afghanistan just now? Why didn't the war happen before? Like Pakistan and Afghanistan, we don't have like why did the war actually happen? It's not like we go way back and it's just like the war can happen at any time. If it's Pakistan and India, it can happen anytime, I guess, because it's happened so many times. Pakistan and Afghanistan never had like a fully blown war. Or do we have like small instances on the borders? Do we have Afghanis people actually come into the country and maybe causing some sort of chaos? To some extent, yeah, that has happened, and I'm pretty sure that happens with the refugees. When you don't have full control of the refugees, it happens everywhere. But like a fully blown war, the timing is very suspicious. It's definitely been initiated by the outside sources. There's definitely something behind it. They want one side to actually be just capacitated with this, so most of their attention is diverted with this. Russia, it seems like Russia will be the only savior, man. Russia will be the only savior, and look, the time has come to the point where you have to call Russia the savior when you do not even like, or you don't even want to justify what Russia did in Ukraine. And I know some people actually have an argument that NATO actually broke the promise with Russia. The bases in Ukraine were, that was it like Obama, or was like which government was that actually made a deal with Russia that we wouldn't be extending them. So Russia has some sort of like a, from their perspective, they were trying to justify that war. But to me, it was kind of a crime because still bombing a lot of schools, bombing a lot of civilians, killing a lot of people, that doesn't get justified by anything. But at the same time, we have to. Russia will be the only savior in this war if they step in right now. Okay, so this is the news that I was actually looking at, where Iran is trying to damage. They wanted to build NATO bases in Ukraine. Russia has a reason to act the way it did. Yeah, I mean, there was a deal. So I think that's a deal that I was talking about. Yeah, it was either during the Obama tenure or maybe the one after that. Not the Donald Trump first one. It was before that. I think it was the Obama one, when they actually made a deal that they would not be making any building any NATO bases in Ukraine. We just started making. So Russia actually did that. But I don't really know that they should have attacked the country. Like that's a bit too extreme. Okay, so I was telling you about Haifa, right? Israel got attacked by Iran. Haifa has sustained significant damage to both its industrial infrastructure and residential areas following a series of missile and drone attacks launched by Iran and Hezbollah over the past 2 weeks. So they attacked the oil refinery first in Haifa, and that's the Israel's largest fuel processing facility, has been a primary target. And then they attacked the electrical infrastructure as well, and then they attacked the pipelines too. They also attacked the transmission lines. They attacked the natural gas lines. They also attacked the power grid. And while most production facilities remained online, the damage forced a partial temporary shutdown of some secondary facilities. Full restoration of the complex is expected to be a complex process. So I'm just saying that Israel is actually taking a lot of damage in the war. What did they actually get out of it? Because I know the purpose was to get the greater Israel. That was a purpose, right? And why was that the purpose, by the way? Why was that the purpose? Do you think Israel is actually looking at some of the resources right now and they're like, okay, we want to expand ourselves? It wasn't because of that. I think it's because of the prophecy. I think it's the way that the religion has been hijacked. Because if you look at it, right, I don't know how many of you guys are actually aware of Gog and Magog. So the theory of Gog and Magog, the prophecy of Gog and Magog is like it's going to be a tribe. But both Islam and Christianity differ in that, by the way. Christianity actually believe that Gog is going to be a leader and he will come from Magog, which will be a place, and Magog would be a place between China and Russia. That's what it kind of like refers to, because it says it would be mountains between those areas. And again, it's not in English, it's a different language, so you have to kind of translate it and then make a decision for yourself, like which place exactly they're talking about. They're talking about like the Caucasus Mountains, against according to most of the scholars. So it'll be either from like Uzbekistan or like Georgia or like those countries. So Gog will come from there with his army, and then he will run through everyone. He will kill a lot of people. According to Islamic philosophy, both Gog and Magog are going to be the tribes. So Gog and Magog are not even going to be human beings. They're tried of like a different species. The prophet Dulkarnain was the one who actually closed them like thousands of years ago. He built a wall, like Trump talks about building a wall, and then they were actually hiding behind the wall. So I'm guessing it would be like a box, so there was no way for them to actually get out of that. And now they're going to come out of the wall and they'll be drinking the whole water of the lakes. They will empty the lakes. Didn't say something about God if you don't know the truth. Don't say something about God if you don't know the truth. I'm not saying anything about God if I don't know the truth. I'm talking about Gog and Magog. That's what I'm talking about. So, according to Islam, yeah, those two tribes would actually come and then they will come towards Israel. And then Israel at that time would be like a peaceful country, which, so I don't think it would be, the prophecy is about to come to fruition right now, because right now Israel is not the relative peaceful country. But those Gog and Magog would also be attacking the countries of Turkey. And again, it's not in English, it's in a different language, so you have to kind of interpret it, and then you make your decision on which countries they're talking about. They'll be talking about Turkey, they're talking about Persia, and they're talking about like Persia and like a bigger term, so like a big Iran. The Persian Empire was quite large, and some of the other Middle Eastern countries and Israel as well. So just for that prophecy to come to fruition, what Israel is trying to do, they're trying to extend Israel. They're trying to make the greater Israeli project. And once they have all the countries under control, then they can actually claim that we are the people of God. And then Gog and Magog are the one actually attacking us. So that just makes them the good guys. And do you know that Israeli people actually do, religion actually plays a lot of part in their lives? Say something about it. Say something about what? Ask me a question. So this is the thing right now. Like, I'm not saying that they are religion is the one that is actually telling them to do it, but I believe that they've hijacked part of it. There's people, I mean, you know about the like the books that got written or like got interpreted in the early 1900s. They were not exactly the same as the book that we're talking about like 2000 years ago, 3000 years ago. They were written from the perspective of just protecting Israel. Zionism was like the main project of it. They wanted Israel to have like a separate state, which there was no concept of it in the religion previously, but it was mainly purposefully written in that sense to do that. Yo, Darth Clorox, how's it going, bro? You're right. So this is my whole perception of the thing, and I just don't think that Israel's whole plan of attacking those countries and taking over those countries is working right now. I think they've taken a lot of punishment. Like, they had success obviously, but they have taken a lot of punishment. No one likes them right now. They haven't. If you talk about like the propaganda war, they haven't. For sure, they have not won the propaganda war. They've not been able to do it. Most of the countries hate them. If you're talking about like the military capabilities and actually winning the war of weapons, yes, they've done it to some extent, but also they've taken some punishment. Yo, cool guy, Ahmed, how's it going? You're right. Pick and choose you won't. Why? Pick and choose. What do you mean pick and choose what? I don't even know what that means. Pick and choose what? Like pick and choose between like ice cream and chocolates? What are we talking about here? So that is my own perspective, and just like we're looking at the damage that they've taken in Tel Aviv and the damage that they've taken in Haifa, it just speaks to you that it was not worth it. And I don't know, I still don't know why the MAGA supporters actually went into this war, why Donald Trump actually went into this war. The title is something, right? I think the title is actually offending a lot of people, to be honest. I think Anthony's really offended just by the title. Are you saying Israel's getting angrily? Yes, I'm kind of saying that. I'm kind of saying that. It's pretty obvious. Yo, Anthony, if you have a question, if you really want to ask a question, because none of your comment actually makes any sort of sense. Say something about it. Bet you want. Pick and choose. What do you like? Clarify something. Like, what do you want actually? Okay, so right now Houthis are against Israel as well, and it's just not looking good, man. It's just not looking good. Uh, while many strikes resulted in no immediate casualties due to effective use of shelters, the health ministry reported that 149 people were injured across Israel in a single 24-hour period on 26th of March. That's still a lot of damage. Okay, no deaths, but 149 people injured in one single day. That is still a large number. Despite fires at the refinery, monitoring teams from the Environmental Protection Ministry confirmed that no hazardous materials leaked and no abnormal air values were detected following the recent strikes. What do you think is going to be the future, by the way? It seems like US's ego is quite big, Trump egos is quite big, and he does want to get some sort of a win. And that's why he's actually bringing the troops to the ground. So we are having the boots on the ground right now, which we said it throughout the whole time that there will be no boots on the ground. It's not a forever war. It's just like an immediate regime change. Hi, UG, Z4C, how you doing? But it seems like the goals are shifting. The goalpost shifts every single time. Like when we get first of all, when we got into war, it wasn't even mentioned why the war actually was initiated. There was no mentioning of that. Was it the immediate threat of the nuclear weapons? Was it the people that Iran was killing for the last 40 years, according to Donald Trump? They've killed a lot of USA soldiers. I don't know where, I don't know why, I don't know when it happened. Was it the regime change that they wanted? Was it to liberate the Iranian people? Or was it for something that we were not going to benefit it from? Or was it the oil? You know what Trump said about the Iraq war, by the way? So when he was campaigning in 2016, he said Iraq war was such a mess. We should have never gotten into war because they had weapons of mass destruction. I heard him recently saying that I told them to not get into the war with Iraq because they didn't have any weapons of mass destruction. But if they do get into the war, make sure that you get the oil. So this is the kind of president we're talking about. Liam Braham, Trump is the best. Liam, you gotta give me at least one good characteristic of Trump. You gotta give me and something from the war perspective. If you're telling me, you could tell me some of the policies that Trump is doing God's work. Oh my God, holy shit! What God's work is he actually doing? Okay, Liam, if you're actually making a claim that he's actually a good guy, and according to you, not just a good guy, he's the best guy and he's doing some sort of God's work, you gotta identify some of the things, like some of the policies that he's doing that is actually according to God's work. Maybe from Bible, maybe from Bible, Quran, or Talmud, or wherever. Has Iran attacked the base of Russia, by the way? No, sorry, not Iran, Israel. Because I was reading news about it. Because that could actually cause a lot of retaliation. And Russia is not like Iran. Russia is a big country with great missile capacity. The missiles, they literally have the longest range missile, actually. They literally have the longest range missile that can go up to like 18,000 kilometers, which is kind of insane. It will literally be able to hit anywhere on this planet. Okay, so Mm, okay, are they bombing Syria as well? By the way, that's kind of they attacked a Russian base in Syria back in 2024. Okay, in 2024 they actually did that, but I think there's something recent that happened as well. It was just a video on Instagram that popped up that I actually watched, but I'm not sure how true that is because sometimes they're actually producing the videos just for the content. So I'm gonna have to fact check on that one. Sahih al-Bukhari narrated, Aisha, the Prophet engaged me when I was a girl of 6. He went to Medina and stayed at the home of the Bani al Harith bin Khazraj. Then I got little and my hair, then I got ill and my hair fell. Okay, now the thing is, you're completely changing the topic because you actually thought about it. You actually thought about it for like 10 minutes and you were like, let me find one good characteristics of Donald Trump. And then you were like, Trump, he's not anti-war. That's not good. Oh, he talked about immigration. Or maybe that is happening to some extent, but he's got eyes that is actually like killing people, to be honest. Like that's not a good characteristic. What do I actually say? And then you're like, oh shit, I can't give you one characteristic of Donald Trump. Let me just change the topic and bring Muhammad and Aisha into this. And by the way, I have a hadith that actually shows that Muhammad actually married Aisha when she was 17 or like 19 years old. So I can even refute your claim of like Muhammad and Aisha, but I mean, I don't think there's much point of doing that. Not lying, but he didn't check the context. Hey, Thomas Caldwell, how's it going, bro? You're right. Which Islamic scholar actually disagree? And by the way, how many scholars are we talking about? If I have a book, I don't have to listen to a scholar, to be honest. I don't have to listen to a scholar. Um, you can listen to the scholar if they help you interpret some of the things that you don't understand. But if you actually do have a book, you can read the book and then you can interpret it the way it actually makes sense to you. And let me actually pull up something because now we're talking about it. So let me just actually bring the resources. She she did marry Prophet at a young age. I've read the Quran and Hadith for 3 years, and it was 1400 years ago when standards were different. So, okay, by the way, I get this logic as well. Like people say that people were hitting puberty at a completely different age. So right now you have girls maturing at, I don't really know, to be honest. Like, if you're just talking about the periods, I mean, there's examples of girls getting periods at like 9, but maybe like 13, 14. But they are mentally mature, so it takes time to get mentally mature. And that's what we have the age of consent as like 16 here. In some of the USA states, it's even less than that. And in some of the Muslim countries, it's actually more than that. But then you have like the people in Arabian countries when the age span was actually only 63 years old, or from the timeline that we're talking about, and they were hitting puberty at a very young age. So that is kind of an argument as well. I completely understand it, but I can actually but I can actually give you an argument that she was actually 19. What you're saying is disgusting, Rakhine Ninja. You're a man of dignity and have read Quran these tell it without searching. You're not mature at 9. You're not mature at 9. Who is saying you're mature at 9? I'm saying the girls, sometimes there are examples of the girls who can hit puberty at 9. Who is saying the girls get mature at 9? Arman, how's it going? You right? Okay, so I'm gonna give you the hadith that actually says that she was 19. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if you know this one. The standards were different as well. And by the way, who's the father of Aisha? It was Abu Bakr Siddiq. He was the very first caliph of the Islam. He was the first caliph of Islam. And why didn't he have an issue with it? By the way, his daughter is getting married to the Prophet, right? If that was like, if they were doing something different, he would have an issue with it. The culture would have an issue with it. I mean, the prophet actually claimed to be the prophet very recently. It was only like a few years before that he claimed to be the prophet. So everybody during that time should have a problem with it, right? The whole culture, the whole society, if it wasn't like normal, if it wasn't the standard, it means everybody was getting married at that age, and whatever that age was. Again, you could have arguments about the age. Exactly, that's the thing, right? This is the prophet that he's following. Like, now, why would he even not? Why would he at least not have an argument and be like, "Well, like, why are we doing it?" But he didn't say anything. Neither did anyone else said that. Okay, so we're talking about. Okay, so Aisha's age of Asma bint Abu Bakr. So Asma was actually Aisha's sister. The most common argument is that Asma was 10 years older than Aisha, right? So Asma is Aisha's sister. She's 10 years older than Aisha. Okay, numerous historical sources, including Tahzib at Tahzib and Al Bidaya wan Nihaya, report that Asma died in 73 AH at the age of 100. So she's dying at the age of 100. Based on this, Asma would have been roughly 27 or 28 at the time of the Hijrah, migration to Medina. So 20 or 27 or 28 at the time of migration to Medina. If Aisha was 10 years younger, she would have been 17 or 18 at the time of the migration. You're getting it? Asma would have been 27, 28. Aisha would have been 17 to 18, making her roughly 18 to 19 when the marriage was consummated to AH. So that is a strong argument, actually. He was no prophet. Besides, Aisha herself never had a problem, said Bukhari, but it is not a problem. Yeah, so we can talk about the argument of like, was it common in that culture actually? And when we talk about this, we can also talk about Rebecca. How old was Rebecca? Was she 3 years old? According to Bible, I guess according to some of the other verses, it points to the fact that she was like 3 years old, which again, if you're looking at the standards, you're going to be saying, oh, that is pretty wrong, like 3 years old. But then if you're going for the comparison, then what is your justification, by the way? Because you're the one who actually brought this topic. Which one are you talking about? Okay, there. Do you want another argument? By the way, let me give you another argument. By the way, another argument involves comparing her age to Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, such as Ibn Hajar, right? Report that Fatima was born when the Prophet was 35 and was 5 years older than Aisha. So Fatima is the daughter of Aisha. Oh, sorry, Fatima is the daughter of Prophet, and she was 5 years older than Aisha. This would mean Aisha was born when the Prophet was 40, putting her at about 10 to 11 at the time of the marriage contract, or older depending on the calculation of the consummate. So this one actually says that she was 10 to 11 at the time of the marriage, but then the marriage was consummated at a different age. So this one gives you a little younger age, but it's definitely not 9, and the marriage would be consummated around like 13 to 14, or maybe like 15. And using other examples of pedo justify pedo, no age exists to Rebecca's age in the Bible. Do you want me to pull it up actually? Okay. Can I read it? Can I read it? 200 Aisha Hadith from herself says she was 9. Okay, let me read this one. The Bible does not explicitly state Rebecca's age at her marriage to Isaac. However, various religion traditions and historical calculations provide estimates ranging from 3 to over 20 years. What are you talking about? What do you say about this one? 3 to 20 years old. 3 to 20 years old. So I mean, somebody can have an argument that she was 3 years old, according to some of the statements. Yeah. Yo, Liam, if you're actually just baiting, rage baiting, if you don't actually believe in this and you're just doing this for rage baiting, that's kind of like not a very good tactic right now. Ahmad, why you use Bible to preach your Islam? I'm not using Bible to preach my Islam. The thing is, Bible is a book of God as well, right? So Muslims actually believe that all of the books before Quran were actually true, and all the prophets before Islam were also true. Like, we believe in Jesus Christ as a prophet, just not as a God. We believe in Moses as a prophet. Abraham as a prophet, and we believe the books on them were actually the revelation of God. I mean, they were written by normal people because they had the instances with them, and they might not be 100% correct because it wasn't like the direct word of God, because but they are the stories that actually did happen. So we can actually, I have the right to actually give the reference from those books. And if somebody, especially if somebody's like attacking my religion, let's say they're attacking some of the principles that are happening, I can actually at least defend it and be like, at least don't have the double standards. Like if you're saying she was married at the age of this, she was married at the age of 9 or like 10, then at least I have the right to actually bring something from Bible and say like, okay, do not have double standards, right? If you want to talk about this, like I don't want to take this route, but if you are taking this route, then you have to at least like defend yourself. Ben Rave, um 400 years later, Muhammad prophet enemies insulted him but never accused him of wrongdoing by marrying Aisha. They never actually did that during that time. They actually never did that. Ben Rave, are you referring to Bible? Like Bible was written like 400 years later. Yeah, I don't know the exact timeline, by the way. I'm not sure about this, but weren't like some of the verses actually written by some of the disciples that were actually like with Jesus Christ, like one of them at least, or maybe the generation after that. No one here attacking your religion. So again, why are you using Bible to preach Islam? Wisdom is mine. I think you just joined the stream right now because Liam is actually making an argument saying that Aisha was actually married at the age of very young age. He's saying that she was married at the age of 6. So that's what I'm saying. I'm using Bible to actually give an example of one of the person from their religion to actually saying that you have the double standards over here. It's not. Uh, Again, you can use Bible. Like Bible is a, because we do believe that Bible is actually a book of God. Like is Bible actually 100% correct? That we don't know about because it's such an old book, and according to Quran, there are like verses of the Bible that have changed over the period of time, but it doesn't say anywhere that it's 100% changed. Why are there so many English people targeting kids in England? Yes, Darth Clorox. That is actually a good point. Actually, that is actually a good point. See, it's happened among all the races. It's happening among all the ethnicities. And why do people not object to that? By the way, that is a good point. And then you have Tommy Robinson as like the biggest propagandist who's always attacking the Pakistanis, by the way, just like you mentioned right now. He's attacking the Pakistanis. It's like he's got something personal against the Pakistanis, but he doesn't get his facts correct, by the way. He does not have his facts correct. Because last time I think somebody actually brought in on my stream where they're actually we're talking about the races and we're talking about like the sexual harassment cases. And I asked him to pull up the stats. I was like, can you pull up the stats right now? And actually pull up the stats on Google. And I was like, if you're looking at the percentage of like the sexual harassments being committed by like the refugees against the native people, it's exactly the same, by the way. Obviously there's going to be more white people actually committing the sexual assaults because they're in great numbers. There's like 80 to 85% of the white people actually living in the country, so they're going to be committing more of the sexual assaults. That's kind of definitive, right? That's going to happen. But I looked at the percentage. I was like, I'm going to give you the percentage argument as well. Like if you're saying there's 80 to 85% white people, but they're only committing like 60% of the sexual assaults, and refugees are only like 20%, and they're committing like 40%, that would be completely insane. But it wasn't like this. Refugees were committing exactly the same number of sexual assaults as the native people. So that's where I said like that argument doesn't actually make any sense. Bro wanted to defend Trump and now he's oh yeah, he still hasn't given me. We're not gonna forget about it, by the way. You still haven't given me one good reason to support Donald Trump. You mentioned that he's doing the work of God. So according to Bible, there should be something given, right? There should be something given about this prophecy that Donald Trump is somehow actually working on. And by the way, Donald Trump does not even know a single verse from Bible. Do you guys know, by the way? Like they dude, there's I wish I can find a video right now, but there's videos of them actually asking Donald Trump about like a verse in the Bible, and the reporter is just asking him a question like, Trump, do you have any opinion on this? And Trump is like clueless. Trump is done. He's like, I've never read the he just couldn't say it obviously in front of the camera, but he has never read the Bible. He doesn't know anything about Bible. Nobody takes Tommy Robinson seriously in Luton. They see him as a clown. Okay, that's good to know, actually. Oh yeah, Trump actually said it. Yeah, he's like, I would not. I don't think I would actually go to heaven. Trump is actually trolling at this point. He's trolling all the MAGA supporters as well. By the way, did you see the new statement that he actually made? He's like, I like to surround myself with the losers because they actually get to say my praises all the time. I get to hear my praises all the time. So the discussion is revolving myself. And I've seen guys like in like the all the pressers, guys like Marco Rubio and Hexeth, they're always praising Trump. They're like, President Trump, you're the best. President Trump, just like President Trump mentioned this policy, President Trump just had an intuition. He didn't even have to do any logical reasoning. He just had the intuition that he had a feeling that Iran was going to attack us. And Trump, they'd be like hyping up Trump all the time. That's what they're doing. And that's why Trump is saying that I am surrounding myself by losers, because then the discussion doesn't involve them at all. He's kind of trolling them at this point, and those guys are still, they're leaking Trump's ass. They're like, Trump is the best. Trump is always the best. Trump is dumb. I mean, Trump is dumb, but he's smart in an evil way. Like, I don't want to appreciate that kind of smartness, but he knows what he's doing right now, and he knows how easily he's getting away with all those problems. So, if you want to call him like an evil smart, yeah, that's also true. Trump, yeah, America actually thought that Trump was the savior at one point, like 2024 campaign. Dude, he lied a lot as well. He was lying blatantly, and people actually bought it. I don't like, Dave Smith was on Joe Rogan. He was actually talking about this. He's like, I'm fed up with the MAGA supporters. Do not link me to MAGA. Like, what is MAGA right now? Like, they're supporters of Trump who actually stood with him for the principles. Like, what was the principle? The principle was to not go to any foreign wars, not go to any foreign wars at all. Right? That was the principle. America first. That's what we're going to be doing. What was the other thing? Okay, there was something about the immigration policy. Like, we're going to have strong border control. That Trump lived up to some extent. But again, the actions that they took inside, using ICE and using killing their own people, actually native people. I'm not even talking about the refugees. They did not do anything successfully. But then there were some MAGA supporters who were like, we're just going to support Trump. If Trump saying no wars, no wars. If Trump says wars, yes, wars. Trump says regime change, regime change. Trump says forever wars, forever wars. So Trump says Israel first, Israel first. So they're actually just blind followers of Trump. It means they actually never believed in anything Trump said. They're just so starstruck by Trump. The other guy's just asking your religion, but now you're not using the Bible to attack Islam. You're always using Bible no matter what anyone asks you. Please spread Islam without insulting other religion. Bro, nobody is insulting. Wisdom is mine. Do you believe in any sort of religion as well, by the way? I'm not insulting any religion. I told you that. Oh, by the way, the very fact that I'm using Bible makes it a fact that I'm not insulting religion. If I was insulting religion, why would I use Bible? I'm using Bible because I'm saying Bible is the word of God. I'm saying that some of it might not be true, but most of it is true, right? The very fact that I'm giving it that much respect, that I'm actually putting the context out of Bible, is because I give respect to Bible. That's what I'm doing right now. He's not just asking me a question. You haven't followed the whole stream. You haven't gone up when he's attacking the prophet. That's what he's doing. That's what he's been constantly doing. Trump is the king of the world. Trump is, give me a good reason, man. Trump is this. Trump is the best. He's doing the work of God. You gotta give me at least one reason, though. For Trump, Zari, Bibi, Netanyahu is first, not America. Definitely, that's what Trump is doing. Trump is fully on the page with Benjamin Netanyahu. And by the way, Netanyahu actually tried with some of the other presidents as well. He has said it clearly. I don't know why people actually don't believe it. If somebody's telling you something, just believe it. He's telling you that he's been yearning for this war for like 40 years. He tried that with Obama. We got the evidence of it. He tried with Obama. He tried with Joe Biden, and they didn't do it. He couldn't get them into wars. And I'm not saying Biden had the strongest personality, but he just didn't do it because he didn't see any benefit for USA in that. And Joe Kent is saying that. Can you believe that? You know how many wars this guy's been in? Like 6 to 7. How many times this guy's been deployed to like different places? And you're saying you're not gonna trust that guy? He's like your anti-terrorism guy, and he's left it. He's resigned now, and you're just gonna say no, this guy is just a sellout, bro. He was a supporter of Trump at one point as well. Oh, bro, why you eat baked potatoes? I don't think I eat baked potatoes, by the way. I'm just not a big fan of potatoes, man. But is there something wrong with baked potatoes, though? I made good money selling mega hats to these idiots in 2016. I love it. I love it, Dot Chorus. The hats were pretty cool, by the way, not gonna lie. Dude, I had a. So I work in the cancer department, right? When I joined in 2020, I joined in 2022, right? We had a guy. Yeah, it was. He wasn't directly my manager, but he was working at a very high band, right? He was a very high level manager. He had a hat as well, like a red hat, but it was more like a troll sort of hat. It was make PTL great again, and PTL stands for like patient tracking list because of cancer patients and stuff. And it was make PTL great again, but it was kind of trolling Trump, so it was kind of funny. And that hat looked pretty cool, to be honest. I took a few pictures with it. Any USA president would have fought for them, to be honest. Ven, do you actually believe in that, by the way? Why didn't Obama and Joe Biden actually go for it? So Obama and Joe Biden were quite I'm not sure Obama actually, but Joe Biden was quite compromised. Like he was taking a lot of donations from like the Israel lobby as well. And by the way, their whole Senate right now, the whole Congress, is been working for the Israeli, I would say Israeli businessman to be a Zionist businessman would be a great word, right? Like Trump is actually taking like 300 million from Miriam Edelson. You don't think that would affect him? Most of the people are taking. Dude, we have evidence from the Epstein files that Epstein was directly guiding one of the persons sitting in the Congress. So they had like a meeting going on. He's directly. They checked out the timing of the email as well. By the way, they checked the timing of the email. Epstein is writing the email at the same point, and she was actually reading at the same point, and you could actually see that in the video. That's how crazy it is. They're kind of running USA, by the way. I am a Christian. I don't think you are attacking us. Thank you, GZ. That actually means a lot. Other religions actually standing up for me when they see what I'm actually doing. You're doing good. Makes sense. Never use other religion to explain your religion unless others are their religion on to justify it. It will look like you're attacking other religion. But I am not attacking other religion. That's what I am doing. I'm not attacking other religion. Because what did I say about the other religion? Because you're gonna have to give me a point where I did say something wrong or something bad about the religion. The whole conversation started with me saying that Muslims actually believe in all the prophets before Prophet Muhammad as well. I say we believe in Abraham, who was like the first prophet to bring like the monotheistic. I mean, Prophet Adam talked about like the monotheistic religion as well, but Abraham was like the big prophet who actually brought the monotheistic religion like officially. And then you had Moses, then you had Jesus Christ, who we believe as a prophet, just not a god, but we actually do respect him a lot, and that's why I believe in all the books as well. And then Prophet Muhammad brought Quran, so definitely not attacking any religion. Anyway, guys, is anybody watching the RAF card today? RAF card today? I am really excited, and to be honest, I might even miss like the UFC card for the RAF card today. I'm definitely gonna be watching Piper, but I might miss the whole card. Uh, Aisha was 27, 28 at migration, and Aisha was 10 years younger than her, which makes Aisha 17 to 18. And the 9 years hadith is narrated by an old companion, which means his memory could have a problem. Yes, when that is a very good point, by the way. That is a very good point, and that is a good way to justify it. And you actually did it using a hadith. I meant you're saying Asma was 27 to 28, and Asma was 10 years older than Aisha. That is a very valid thing according to most of these. She is 10 years older, and then if she was 27 to 28 at the time of migration, then Aisha must have been 17 to 18, and her wedding actually happened a year or 2 years after that. Was it 2 AH that it actually happened? So that means that Aisha must have been 19, right? So that is a strong evidence. That's what I'm saying. Like, why do we always have to take like the worst part? Because people are trying to like criticize, right? They're trying to find the worst part. Like, okay, let's find the least age that we can actually find in the books. Okay, 6. Well, first they look at like there's another hadith that actually says that she could have been like 13 to 14. There's one which says she could have been 15. But people who want to criticize, really criticize, they're gonna try to pick on the things. They'll be like, "Oh, 15 is too old, right?" There's states in USA where the actual consensual age is like 14. All right, we want to make her look really bad. What do? 14, 14 we can work with, but then 14 is probably not looking that bad. People are gonna say like it was a long time ago. Let's pick out something else, and they'll be like 9. Okay, 9 looks really bad, but then they're like, can we actually make it look even worse? And then they're like, um, In France it's 15. I mean, in UK is 16. In some of the states in the USA is 14, bro. I can even pull up like the names of the states that have like the really low consensual age. And by the way, in Pakistan it's 18 now. They've actually made a law that it will be 18. So Pakistan is doing better, man. Like people talk about the sexual harassment cases, especially in the UK. They try to like put a lot of highlight on it, but Pakistan is actually 18. Is more than the UK. um, Lowest age of consent. Okay, the lowest fixed age of sexual consent in the world is currently 11 years old, as established in Nigeria. It's 11 actually. While most countries set this age between 14 to 16, and by the way, the average is between 14 to 16. So it's not like our marriages have gone so high that we're actually doing it to some like high level, high extent. It's 14 to 16 on average. Epstein Khan. Who is Epstein Khan, by the way? Certain nations have lower thresholds. It is important to know that many jurisdictions also use Romeo and Juliet laws. Okay, so there's some clause in age exemptions which can allow for lower ages if the partners are close in age. Okay, so Nigeria is 11, Angola is 12, Philippines is 12. Philippines is 12, bro. That is surprising, actually. I never thought about like Philippines. Cuba is 12. Wow, Cuba is also 12. Mexico is 12. Niger is 13. Burkina Faso is 13. Okay, so look, Muslims would never actually point out to this fact, right? Like the age of consent in Philippines. Like Philippines is not a Muslim country. Cuba is not a Muslim country. Cuba is a pretty Christian country. Mexico is a Christian country. You know why Muslims actually don't raise this issue? It's because Muslims naturally, generally, just respect the Christians a lot because we actually do respect the Prophet Jesus Christ. We actually do believe him as a prophet, right? So we know that if you're going to be criticizing him, we're going to be criticizing like parts of our religion as well if you're actually doing it. So we don't want to make it like you versus me. We're kind of like all inclusive. We're like, okay, you're our brothers as well. So that's why nobody's actually raising an issue on that. Like if Muslims really wanted to pick on this point, they could have been like, why is the age of consent like 12 in Mexico? We wouldn't say that. We would never even say that religion is actually playing a part. We will just say it's like a cultural thing. Like they're culturally just doing it. And again, I think at this point it is quite it's not right because the world has changed quite a bit. So at this point I would say it should be minimum 16 or 18. Okay, in okay, yep. Japan has actually raised it from 13 to 16. South Korea also raised it from 13 to 16 in 2020. Yeah, and South Korea is such a big ally of USA. Well, Wen, what is your pick for today? Main event: Joe Pfeiffer versus Israel Adesanya. What is your pick, by the way? Who are you going for? And what are you thinking about Arman Sarikian, man? That thing, dude, that thing is just kind of like, I'm excited about that one. Like, that is the thing I'm going to be tuning in for. I'm going to be watching the whole RAF card. Because on this card, first of all, dude, they're doing much better promotion than UFC. Like, we don't see that sort of rivalry in UFC. Like, look at the press conference. Like, Arman and Giorgio, they're actually sitting right next to each other. And the kind of things they're talking about, like, when Giorgio actually brings Nina into this, and he's like, dude, Armin's like, oh, why didn't you give me like $10,000? And Giorgio's like, I'll give you $10,000 if you give me a date with your girlfriend Nina. And Armin's like, what? It's like, if you give me a date with your girlfriend Nina. And Armin's like, you're gonna be. He looks at the audience first of all and says, never talk about it. Don't ask questions that involve my family, friends, or like any woman in my life, like my mom or sister or like anybody like this. If you talk about this, you're gonna be dead. You're gonna be dead. And to be honest, I thought it was like an overreaction from Armin. It was like George is just kind of like joking about it. But I was looking at his eyes and the way he was actually looking at the audience. I was like, bro, this guy's actually dead serious. And then he says that again. He's like, I don't care if it's a ROF card or it's like UFC card or like I see you on the streets and you ask me this question, it's gonna be like this. Yeah. Yeah, Nina. I'm talking about Nina drama. I'm talking about Nina. Like, what is the relationship, by the way? What is it? Because Nina is like a married woman, right? And Armin's married as well, by the way. Armin has got a wife and he's got two kids. So they couldn't be dating each other. Like, that's not possible. So maybe Arman just respects Nina as his friend a lot, that he actually doesn't even want to hear anything about Nina when somebody's going negative. But again, I guess because Nina is so open on the social media, like he's posting all sort of pictures, all sort of videos, I think she's gonna have to be open to like some sort of criticism to some extent. Like people, if people are talking about like the sexuality of Nina, or like asking for a date with Nina, you think they actually just made that stuff up? Do you think they actually talked about it before the press conference? I mean, that's a possibility as well. Maybe RAF was completely in on it, and RAF is like, okay, that's just going to be good for the promotion of the business. So if you guys want to bring out Nina into this and all of this, and Nina confronted Giorgio at the end as well. She was like, "You were cool to me backstage, but now it's like you were just talking about me." She thought it was kind of weird, but she didn't like that apparently. But who knows? Who knows? They could all be in on it. They're making a lot of money. And then Armin was talking about like Jojo versus Armin in like a some sort of like a street fight, and with no rounds, with unlimited time. And Armin's like, "I'm gonna pay you $100,000 if you actually do that with me. Would you do that for $100,000?" And it just seemed like Jojo was not willing to do it. He did. There was like quietness after that. He didn't do that. But I'm just saying, from a promotional side, man, it's just like they're just doing it so good. And Kobe versus Dylan Dennis in the co-main event, that's also like, yeah, Kobe versus Dylan Dennis in the co-main event. I'm kind of excited for that one as well, but I think that's going to be very one-sided because Dylan was never known for having like great wrestling. His jiu-jitsu is amazing. He's one of the best leg lockers in the game. We know that. He's won like a few jiu-jitsu championships in Dubai, I think, before he started his Bellator career. Even in Bellator, the two fights that he had, he was able to get the leg locks pretty quick. I just don't think he's anywhere close to Kobe when it comes to pure freestyle wrestling. The technique is different. You saw Rockhold versus Kobe, right? Rockhold, very high level grappler, but a jiu-jitsu grappler, not very strong wrestling background. And Kobe ragdolled him, like 10 0'd him, something like that. He made it look easy. Yeah, that is true. Who is the trash talk final boss? Who are your favorite? Who are your best trash talkers, by the way, of all time? Like I put like Chael, maybe Chael is like number one. Then I'll put like Connor, Michael Bisping pretty high. Kobe Covington, obviously Kobe is gonna be there. Like these are the guys, man. Like these are the legends, the OGs of trash talk. You gotta talk about them. Mm, Liam Brest left without explaining why Trump is the daddy. Dude, he could not make a single argument. He did not even give us a single reason. Yeah, by the way, I don't know. Maybe he didn't come up with it. Maybe he couldn't think of it. Maybe he was like, okay, that's just not gonna do it. Or maybe he was trolling. Like I didn't even know. Maybe he was just trolling us at this point. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, RAF card today, man, is and by the way, the good thing about RAF is they're also bringing like some very high level freestyle wrestlers into this. So it's not just like MMA fighters wrestling in the match or like jiu-jitsu guys wrestling in the match. They're also doing actual wrestlers. So they have Bo Bassett again competing. I think it's probably like the second or the third fight on the card. Then they have is Wyatt Hendrickson competing today? I know Kyle Lake is competing today. Kyle Lake is like one of the best wrestlers, Olympic champion, a world champion, multiple gold medals. He's competing. Who else do they have? And by the way, there's another guy, man. There's a Dagestani guy who's also a very good level wrestler. He's going against Kyle Snyder, who is the biggest rival of Sadulayev. If you watch freestyle wrestling, he's also competing. So there's a lot of great wrestlers competing tonight on the RAF card, and it will be an exciting event. The only thing is that event is happening side by side with the UFC event. UFC event is not that exciting today, to be honest. I'm gonna be watching the main fight, like Izzy versus Piper, and I'll be supporting Izzy in that fight. Am I gonna be watching FIFA World Cup? Yeah, I might be watching FIFA World Cup. I mean, it's happening in the USA. I know a lot of countries have boycotted the World Cup. A lot of people have canceled the tickets. It's still a World Cup. It's still a football World Cup, and definitely gonna be tuning in. Isn't Sadulayev the best wrestler? Sadulayev is actually the best wrestler. Yeah, he's the best wrestler. There's a guy who came recently. He's from the same area as well. I think he's the one who's been able to beat Sadulayev in their last match. I can't remember correctly if it was Olympics or like the World Championships, but in the last final he was able to beat him. But Sadulayev is still in his prime. He's like only like 29, 30 years old. So he's still got some years left in him. And he's signed with RAF, by the way. So RAF can put him on the card, man. They also signed Gable Stevenson, by the way. That's like a big news. Gable is going to be fighting very soon. Through prioritized boycott done. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's what I'm gonna be doing most probably as well. Yeah, definitely not paying them. No way. No way they deserve to get paid. Which team do you root for, by the way, in football? When it comes to internationals, I root for Argentina. Always been my favorite, and actually, I wouldn't say always been my favorite. I did support Brazil in. It was a long time ago when Rivaldo was actually playing. I did support Brazil a long time ago, but then I supported Germany for like a while, and then I started supporting Argentina when Messi actually came. After Messi, every World Cup I was just supporting Argentina because Messi is just my favorite player of all time. And the last World Cup they were actually able to get it. France is very strong this year. I'm not as big of a football fan, so I don't know much. Like I don't know which team is actually doing the best right now. Like I don't know. I don't really follow like Premier Leagues. I know the tables. I know Arsenal is winning. City is like number two, but I don't follow it like UFC or like MMA. So okay, France does have a good chance. I mean, France has always had a strong team. Portugal to Portugal too. They won European National League last year by beating number one ranked Spain. Yeah, Portugal has a good team. They have a strong side. Do you think Ronaldo is going to be playing the World Cup? And do you think it would be his last World Cup? Number one, dude. Why is Italy not playing it? By the way, why is Italy? How is Italy? How does Italy even manage to not qualify? Not even half a penny. They not deserve anything. They don't deserve anything. Yeah, not even a praise. Not a penny. Not a praise. Nothing. I watch cricket, MMA, football, sometimes boxing. Boxing, I watch only the guys that I like. So mostly the guys from the lightweight class, I would say. Like I'm a fan of Garcia. I think this is the hardest weight class right now. Like Garcia, Shakur, Lopez, like those guys. I'm a fan of them. When it comes to football, I watch internationals and I watch the Premier League matches or the Champions League matches. If it's an interesting one, if my brother is watching, to be honest, I never tune in by myself. If my brother is watching on the TV, I'll tune in with him sometimes. Cricket, I watch the World Cups or like the Champions trophies. There was a time when I was like a big cricket fan. Like I used to watch everything, but now it's just like if it's a big event, if it's like a World Cup or like Champions trophy or something like this, I'll watch it. MMA, I kind of watch it, yeah. Especially when it comes to UFC, like I'm pretty much like up to date with everything. Ronaldo would definitely play. Dude, how are they able to maintain their fitness to such a level that they're 41 years old? They're still able to play the World Cup at like the highest level. It's unbelievable, right? You got to praise that. I think it's probably part of it is like genetics, but also part of it is like the effort that he's putting into it. Like this guy's not quitting. He's like, I'm gonna do my best to actually do it. And even Messi is like 39, 40 years old, whatever he is. Like Messi's gonna be playing the World Cup as well. And these guys are still doing all right. Not bad. They might not be the best, they might not be in their prime, but they're still like good enough to actually play in the team. And I think it's also the competition that they have that they're constantly pushing each other because they want to be known as like the most dominant. So they're like, all right, Messi is waiting for Ronaldo to retire, and Ronaldo is waiting for Messi to retire. He might play till 27, 28, so he can play besides his son. I think that would be a cool thing actually to see them play like side by side. That would be actually be very cool. So, who are you picking to win the World Cup? Are you picking France to actually win the World Cup? France, and you're saying Portugal has a good squad because they beat Spain. Like that would be interesting. What else is happening, by the way? Do you watch tennis? And who is your like favorite tennis player of all time? To me, if you're talking about like the tennis discussion, I would say Djokovic. You couldn't have an argument against Djokovic because Djokovic has been able to do what nobody else has been able to do. Like we're talking about like numbers speaking for themselves. Numbers don't lie. Like you're talking technique. Okay, Roger Federer, you can have an argument, but Federer was never as good of an athlete as Djokovic. Djokovic was able to just defend it, everything, literally everything, especially when he was in his prime. You don't watch tennis at all. To me, Djokovic is the GOAT, and then you have like Federer and Nadal, depending on your criteria. Ronaldo still elite despite being in Saudi. He was good in Nations League final. All right, pretty cool. Ronaldo's doing fine. Even I heard Messi. My brother's like a big fan of Messi. I heard Messi's doing pretty fine as well in the USA. He's actually like winning them tournaments and stuff. Let me see what else is happening. Okay, so I was looking at the RAF news and they're saying Olympic champion Kyle Snyder has no interest in facing UFC fighters. I like that because he's not trying to make a name for himself because he knows he will demolish the UFC fighters. He actually wants to face the best wrestlers. I respect that. Um and for basketball, I only know LeBron James gooning memes. I'm not following any of the gooning memes. Let me check it actually. Are there like gooning memes going about LeBron James? LeBron James gooning meme. LeBron James got caught. Bro, did he actually do that, by the way? Did he actually do that during the game? Like, why are people making those memes? Be honest, as a man, do you goon to LeBron? Do you goon to LeBron? No. How can LeBron recall every handshake he does? King James memories are good to remember. All those handshakes. Is it because of the handshakes that he does? That's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. What is the No Kings protest, by the way? Okay, No Kings protest rally, U.S. rally against Donald Trump. Large protests against the Trump administration are taking place in cities across the US, marking the third iteration of No Kings rallies that have previously drawn crowds into the millions. Organizers say that they are protesting against policies imposed by US Donald Trump. Is that what Liam was actually referring to? Liam was calling him the king, right? He's like, he's doing the work of God. He's the king. Dude, they're talking about like a no king protest right now. They don't want any kings. Took place in nearly every major US city, including New York, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. Rallies took over the streets of downtown Washington, D.C. throughout the afternoon, with throngs of people marching through the nation's capital. Protesters lined the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and packed the National Mall. Life, like in previous iterations of No Kings, protesters held up effigies of Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and other officials in the administration, calling for their ousting and arrest. One of the flagship No Kings protests on Saturday took place in Minnesota, where two American citizens, Rennie Nicole Good and Alex Preddy, were killed by federal immigration agents. This is what I'm talking about. Like, ICE was committing a lot of crimes, right? Like, people were talking about like the deportations and all of this. But once ICE took everything in their own hand and they actually started committing those crimes, nobody was happy about this. Even the mega supporters kind of broke on that. They were like, we're not actually supporting this because, first of all, you shouldn't be killing people. And second of all, if you're killing people, you should at least not be killing people of your own country. That's what you're doing. You're killing the wrong people. And dude, the thing with this is that you can support the idea of like not having the mass immigration. Like, you could have control over the borders, so you know who's actually coming into this country. You can have more of a surveillance, which Trump actually did like a decent job on that. Like, the borders were closed and you didn't have many people coming into the country. But now the problem is, you said in your campaign that you would be deporting 50 million people. How is that even possible? How do you pull that numbers? Because now you don't have any new people coming into the country, so you have to deport the old people actually living into this country. And there's a lot of people who actually came through legal means, and even if they were illegal, those people came like 15 years back or like 10 years back, and they have different statuses right now. So are you really gonna deport them? And some of those people are actually serving the army. Some of those people have their sons and their daughters serving in the army. They're very good positions right now, and they actually worked hard in the country. So that would have not made any sense. And I know when ICE was taking actions, they were taking very violent actions. They didn't show any remorse, no respect. And what they did is they did deport some of those people who were actually doing the service for USA. I know. There's people in Marines who were actually deported. There's like one guy who served in the military for like a long period of time, for like 20 years, and then he got deported too. ICE was like a group in USA. It's sort of like a police, like an anti-immigration sort of police. So they were used for like deportations. So they were actually arresting any of the illegal immigrants and actually sending them back to the country. But they had very sort of like, the way they were carrying out the activities was so intense. Literally, it's that they were the way they were actually carrying out the attacks is that they were not even showing their badges to the people. They would just come to the people, and they would just, in some cases, be violent to a point where they're actually indulging in like some sort of physical violence. So we had cases like this, and then there was obviously like a few killings. There was killing of Alex Peretti. There was a killing of like Renee Good. I don't know if you follow those killings, but they were pretty damn bad actually. Renee Good was the one who was a woman actually, woman. She was driving a van, and she drove a van towards the, according to the ICE officer, she was trying to kill the ICE officer, but you could see in the video, she's actually her the front wheels of the van are actually pointing towards the opposite side of where the ICE officer is actually standing up. So it means that she was trying to get away from the ICE officer because she was not the right person. And ICE officer took an offense to that, and he didn't have to shoot her because she was not driving towards him. We saw that, and he shot two bullets at her. The first one actually was at a point where she was close to him, but she was taking the turn. The second was completely unnecessary because she had already taken the turn. So you can't be that bad, right? Like some people are saying he just got rattled and then he shot. First of all, if you're getting rattled that easily, should you actually be working for ICE? Like, aren't you supposed to be like a trained policeman? And then he shot her twice. He killed her, and then you had an incident with Alex Peretti, where Alex Peretti is the guy. So ICE turns up to one of the protests, and then they actually encounter a woman who they think is kind of illegal, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to physically harm the woman. They're pushing her, and Alex Peretti, as a man, does not like a woman getting bullied by like a group of like six men. So he kind of actually countered them a little bit, comes in the way, try to protect the woman. And you could see that he's not even trying to get physical with them. What he's trying to do is trying to protect the woman. He's covering her basically. And he had a gun in his pocket. And again, the conservatives should actually be proud of it because they're all for the pro-gun laws, right? So you are, according to the US law, allowed to carry a weapon when you come to the protest. But then he's not even trying to shoot anybody. He does not take the gun out of his pocket. The gun is still in his pocket. Like six people actually pin him down, and one guy shot him like many times. And then he's getting shot like 6 to 7 times. Now they're saying that he was taking the gun out of the pocket. In the video, you couldn't see any gun coming out of the pocket, which is kind of crazy. Like, how do you have six people pinning a guy down and shooting him down when he's not even taking his gun out? And then they're like, oh, is that sort of a weapon that can actually fire by itself? Like, dude, if it's firing by itself, shooting Alex Peretti is not gonna help because it can still fire by itself. The best action to take would be to disarm him, would be to take the gun out. And then if you were able to take the gun out, actually, in the video, you could also see that they were able to take the gun out. If you have taken the gun out, then why are you shooting Alex Peretti now? Like, they shot him a few times after taking the gun out as well. That is kind of crazy. And you know what's not surprising about this is because these ICE officers actually got the training for only 42 days. It was a very small training session, right? Like, the actual police officers have to take training for months before they even put them on the streets in like live practices. And these ICE officers are training, taking training for like 42 days, and they're actually, taking out those actions. They're being provided with like guns, and you have like the president of USA actually backing them up for like every single thing that they do. I mean, the guy does not even watch any of the videos. To be honest, he did not even watch the video. And like, they asked him the question, and he had like those uh, answers that he crammed before actually going for the presser, which is like, well, they were trying to kill him. They were trying to kill the ICE officers. The ICE officers were just trying to defend themselves. And dude, it's like, you got to come up with a different thing, right? Every time you're going to say that. He said that both of the times, like, it was justified because it was for self-defense. But it was before, it was before the video even came out. Like this guy saying that, and even after the video come out, like this guy, he doesn't watch it. He has like a few memorized things in his brain that he's gonna say like every single time. This is the thing that is wrong. Like even with the, do you guys remember the incidents when it was like the Tomahawk missile that killed a lot of like the Iranian people in the school? It was girls that were aged like really young girls, actually aged like 8 to 10, and they asked Donald Trump about it, and it's like Donald Trump, before even doing any sort of investigation, was like, Iran is known for attacking their own schools, and he's like, Iran actually did it, and he's saying that with confidence. Yeah, they dropped the missile. They dropped the missile on themselves. We don't kill the civilians. We never did that. But like, and then they did the whole investigation. Like the first time he could actually do that, but then they did the whole investigation, and even Hegseth was like, "Oh shit, what am I gonna say now?" Like they've done the investigation, and we found out that it was us who actually killed them because we're the ones who possessed the atomic missiles. Trump is still denying it to the face. He's blatantly lying it even after that, which is insane. Dude, what the fuck? I just watched 3 videos of ICE killing people. 2 were women in a car who tried to run away, and 1 was a man whom they even got down but still got shot. This is evil, bro. This is evil. And that's why they lost a lot of support. So I'm talking about like Mega getting broken right now, right? It was the ICE shootings that actually separated Mega as well on some of the issues. Like, why are you doing this? Why do you have to do it that way? Like, you have to be really bad at this thing. If you if you're getting rattled by a woman driving a van, and if you watch the video, you could actually clearly see a woman taking the turn to the other side, right? And by the way, she's not even a refugee. That person is not a refugee. That person was a British, sorry, the American. She was American. Alex Preddy was also American. Alex Preddy was actually a nurse. And one of the police officers actually said that he thought that when Alex Peretti was recording with his camera, with his phone, he thought that he was carrying a gun. Like, how stupid is that? Is that the excuse that you're actually going to give for killing people? That you thought that he was carrying a gun when he had a phone in his hand? Like, how stupid could you be? So, if you thought that it was a gun, are you saying that all 6 of you actually thought that it was a gun? And by the way, for me as a guy, like, I do a bit of martial arts and like a bit of jiu-jitsu, a bit of wrestling, right? If you are trained, you should be able to control one guy by yourself. Dude, one guy by yourself, or if there's 2 of us, that's good enough. You don't need 6 people actually pinning one guy down. You don't need that. You're a grown man. You got one guy down. Of course, you're an ICE officer. Obviously, you must have some sort of training, right? And are you not sitting any sort of test, like physical fitness test, when you're actually going for the training? Like 2 people pinning a guy down, that's enough. Then you have 6 people pinning a guy down, and you're still ending up shooting because you're still not confident. Like, how bad do you have to be? Imagine there's like a grappling fight. Imagine there's a grappling fight. You have 6 on 1, and those 6 guys actually have weapons, and then they use the weapons on that one guy. Like, instead of just controlling him, when they can easily control him. So 6 guys on top of the guy, you have control over him, but you're scared that he might be able to pull off some stun and be able to beat you in a way. You still have to use your weapon, and you have to use it multiple times. And they actually disarmed him before shooting him. They disarmed the gun, and then the logic that they're giving is like the gun can go by itself. Like, does that even make any sense, by the way? You disarm the guy, so now you're the one holding the gun. Now, if the gun is gonna go off by itself, it's gonna go off anyway. Killing him is not gonna help, right? Do you understand like what I'm saying right now? Like, there's 6 of you guys. I disarm the gun. Now I'm the one carrying the gun. Why are you shooting him now? That doesn't make any sense. But it is just kind of crazy. I'm actually, you gotta go to sleep, or I would become sleep deprived demon. You know what? I was thinking exactly the same thing because I'm gonna be watching the whole show tonight, right? I'm actually gonna be staying up for the RAF event, so I have to wake up at 1 o'clock anyway. So it's better if I get like a power nap and maybe like sleep for like 1.5 hour and then wake up, and then I might actually stream again. I don't know. I might actually stream again, but that would be like an MMA based stream where I'll be like analyzing the fights or just stuff. But man, good to see you, man. Have a good one. Take care of yourself, and I'm probably just gonna get off the stream as well. Take care of yourself.